Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hot Jobs at HireMilitary. Thank you so much for joining us today on another lovely Tuesday afternoon. We have some really incredible opportunities to share for our viewers today, to include DoD SkillBridge internships and full-time direct hire roles. As always, if you're a transitioning service member, a veteran, or a military spouse, please tell us where you're watching from. It's always so interesting to see such a wide array of locations, everything from Oconus to here stateside and everything in between. So please, as you are taking some time to introduce yourself along with where you are located, we'd love to hear more about you in the comments. If it's your first time, we love seeing our first time viewers. So please let us know if it's your first time watching today. Or if you're one of those people that is with us here every week, we love seeing you as well. So please just tell us a little bit more about yourself there in the comments as well. Here at the recruiting team at HireMilitary, we really do desire to assist as many of you as humanly possible in springing into a new career this year. So as you're introducing yourself, we'd love to know what kind of roles you are searching for. If you're transitioning from the military and looking into specific SkillBridge internships, we'd love to know more about that. If your job search is guided by a certain geographic location, please let us know as well. Or if you're a veteran or military spouse that is looking for a new career or maybe pivoting into a different industry, please tell us more about that. Not only does it get to know you, help us get to know you a little bit more, but we might have an opportunity that is a perfect fit for you. So please tell us all about it there in the chats. We go through every week, go through the chats and try to connect people with roles that we have open. So please keep continuing to drop that information. Wow, I just had a huge list of comments just spring up. So thank you so much, everyone. Jesus, Thomas, Melissa, so great to see you all here. Colleen, welcome. Great having everyone on here today. So while everyone is continuing to introduce themselves in the chats, we will take a few minutes to introduce our team. I am Kate Wood. I'm a recruiter here at HireMilitary. I'm an Army veteran and currently an active duty military spouse. My husband is still in the Army, and we are stationed here near Eglin Air Force Base in Northwest Florida. I know we have a holiday coming up this weekend with Easter, so I'd love to hear from our team what everyone has planned for the Easter holiday. Lucy.
I need to put unmute. I was reading all the comments and I was playing bingo with who's in our locations. Hi, everybody. I am Lucy Robinson. I head up the talent acquisition team here at HireMilitary. I am an active duty Air Force spouse. Don't be fooled by the accent. I have been in the US for a while now. My husband is currently stationed at Eielson Air Force Base in the middle of Alaska, so about as far away from Kate as you possibly can be. This Easter, we are leaving the sticks and we are heading down to Anchorage for the weekend. So big city, which means we get to go to Target, we get to eat some good food, and we get to escape this tiny town for a couple of days. How about you, Amber?
Lucy, I hope you have a great time. That sounds like a lot of fun. My name is Amber. I am on the recruiting team here at HireMilitary. I'm an Air Force veteran. My husband is still active duty Air Force, and we're in San Antonio. But over the long weekend, we plan to make our way over to Dallas to do a little exploring over there. So what about you, Kadeen? What do you have going on this weekend?
Yeah, thank you, Amber. Y'all, I'm going to be praising Jesus. But aside from that, I'm going to take my little one Easter egg hunting for the first time. So it's going to be his first Easter, so I'm excited about that. But hello, everyone. My name is Katie, and I am a SkillBridge recruiter here at HireMilitary. I am currently located in Denver, Colorado. So it's been so beautiful. Just got out of the Air Force, stationed in Oklahoma for the entirety of my career. So it's a breath of fresh air. So I look forward to sharing all of our exciting roles with you guys today.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, team. I love hearing a little bit more about what's going on in everyone's neck of the woods, for lack of better terms, here every week. We are a fully remote company. Obviously, you see that by the wide array of locations that we have coming here today from our team. So it's always great to see what's going on with everyone as well. So thank you for that, and love seeing everyone introducing themselves in the chats. Please continue to do so. Also, if you've tuned in before to a recent broadcast, you'll remember that we take the last 5 to 10 minutes to answer job search related questions. Lucy always provides some fantastic information surrounding, specific areas of job searching, whether it's resumes, interviewing, digital networking, LinkedIn, things of that nature. But we also love to field questions from the audience as well. So as we go today, if there are questions that you have related to any of those things, anything related to job searching or transitioning or SkillBridge internships, anything and all of the above, please type those into the chats. We compile all of them and try to answer as many of them as we can at the end of the broadcast. And if we can't get to them today, we try to touch back on those in a future broadcast as well. So keep engaging there in the chats, and we'll definitely get to those questions as well. All right, so now back to the hot jobs that we will be discussing today. Just as a caveat, as we share roles, if you are interested in a specific role, you can comment with the title of that role into the chat. We have another person from our team, Matt Hart. He will be in the chats sharing direct links to the position descriptions. So as we go, if you are interested in a specific role, again, just type the specific title of the chat. Matt will get you the direct link where you can find more information on that role as well as the link to apply. All right, so that is more than enough for me for now. So let's get into it. Kadeen, I'd love to hear about the SkillBridge program, first of all, and then the roles that you have for us today.
Yes, absolutely, Kate. Thank you for that introduction. Everyone, today we're going to be talking about some amazing DoD SkillBridge opportunities. But before we get into that, just want to put a quick caveat that here at HireMilitary, we do provide DoD SkillBridge internship opportunities to eligible transitioning service members who are within the last 6 months of their contract. This is based off your data separation or your ETS. So our internships are typically between 90 days to 120 days, where in which you do have that high possibility of gaining a full-time employment after you successfully complete your internship. With that said, let me get into the roles that we currently have. So we have a propeller technician role, and then the requirements for this position is you have to have a mechanics experience or anything related in that background. You have to have a high school diploma or a GED, in addition to basic understanding of hand or air tools. And then, of course, you have to have an understanding of assembly skills. So our second position that we do have is a program technician. And then for this role, it requires you to have experience supervising and supporting a team. You have to have your high school diploma or GED. In addition to, they want someone who have excellent oral and written communication. And then if you have check in the box experience, that is a plus. It's not a requirement. It's not required, but it is a plus. So that is that position. And then we do have a graphic designer and digital content creator position. So if you are someone with a creative background, you may be interested in this role. So for this position, they do want someone who has a bachelor's degree. It is preferred, not required. You're going to want to have 2+ years of experience in graphic design, in Illustrator experience, in addition to Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. So if you have that background and you want to check it out, go ahead and apply. And then we do have a solution architect position. So for this role, you have to have a 2-year degree in any business discipline related field. So if that's computer science, management information system, essentially that is what they're looking for. They do want someone who has 2 years of experience in architecting web app. We're thinking JavaScript, SQL. We're talking about web services, HTML, CSS. So if that is something that is interesting, it may be worth checking out, right? We also have, last but not least, a Java developer / programmer position. So this is a very exciting opportunity for those of you who are in this field. So what is required of this position? They ideally want someone who has a bachelor's or master's degree in computer science or software engineering. They're flexible with either or. 2 years of experience with Java web product development. Essentially, they want the most recent version, which is a Java 6+. And then someone who has an understanding of Windows, Unix, or Linux operation system, in addition to Servlet 3.0+, and they prefer Tomcat. So if you do think you're qualified for either of these positions, Matt Hart is going to leave all the links in the comment. Go ahead and apply. And we're looking forward to reviewing your resumes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Kadeen. Again, those are DoD SkillBridge internships that are available to transitioning service members within the last 180 days of their time on active duty. Also, if these don't seem of interest to you, we have, I think, 150 plus openings right now for internships on our website. I know Matt has dropped the link to all of our openings there as well. But absolutely, if you're a transitioning service member interested in DoD SkillBridge internships, connect with Kadeen as well as Brandy Walker, who are dedicated SkillBridge recruiters, and they will be able to point you in the right direction on how to learn more about our DoD SkillBridge internships. Wonderful. All right. Now, Amber will be discussing some of our direct hire opportunities. The roles that Amber mentions and several that I will mention later on as well are open to transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses. So, Amber, I'd love to hear more about your opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll be sharing 3 opportunities with you today. The first one being a cybersecurity business consultant. I gave you guys a little sneak peek of this one last week. We hadn't posted it yet, but it is up. It's live now. So for the cybersecurity business consultant, it is completely remote. There is a significant element of travel. So it's actually not completely remote. There's a significant element of travel. With that, they do want you to be near a major airport. But our client is a global company. They work to create connected technologies that reshape industries, that transform cities, and that enrich lives. And they're pretty, they have a lot of rich history. They're about a 180-year-old company. They are headquartered out of Europe with their major U.S. Location out on the East Coast. So they are doing some really fantastic things. Like I mentioned, there is an element of travel that's required for this position to get to your customer, to develop those cybersecurity services and support their sales efforts. They do prefer a bachelor's in a computer-related field, as well as somebody who is well-versed in that IT, OT technologies and the convergence of the IT and OT. So that's the cybersecurity business consultant. The next one that I have to share this afternoon is in Savannah Metro. Actually, the next 2 are in Savannah Metro area. This one is an operations manager position with a company that is really, really growing a lot. So they're in the warehousing and distribution industry, and they work with everything from food to golf cart parts. So hearing a little bit about them was very interesting. But in this operations manager position, they're looking for somebody who can really plan, direct, and coordinate all of the operations at their Savannah facility. They do prefer a bachelor's degree or 4 years of work experience, as well as somebody who is familiar with business and management principles, a little bit of HR knowledge, those principles as well, and to include some economic and accounting principles. So overall, somebody who's really well-grounded for that operations manager position that, again, is in the Savannah metro area. The next one that I have to share is a operations supervisor. This is also in the Savannah area. And in this position, you will be coordinating and supervising the operations for their warehouse there in Pooler to simplify the supply chain for their location. So like I mentioned, our client is really growing. They have warehouses and distribution centers. They're really looking to grow. They're excited to bring on our military community. And with that, for the operations supervisor, they do prefer somebody who is a flexible, adaptable leader and who can operate in a faster paced environment. Preference is for logistics and warehouse experience, as well as somebody who's familiar with those lean processes and has a couple years, maybe 2 to 5 years of supervisory experience.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Amber. Fort Stewart was actually my first duty station in the Army. So Savannah holds a place near and dear to my husband and I's heart. We were married there as well. Our first child was born there. So those opportunities in the Savannah metro area are very exciting as well. And again, just to mention, if you're interested in a role, please type the specific job title into the chat. If you just say interested, we can't see exactly where in the broadcast you mentioned that. So just please type the title of the role in the chat, and we'll be able to get that link to the full position description to you, so you can look at the role more and apply if you're interested and qualified. So great. Thanks so much, Amber. I have several roles to share with our community today as well. The first being a warehouse manager. This position is located in the Houston metro area. Specifically, our client's facility is in Fresno, Texas. They are a manufacturing company. We have hired on veterans with them in the past, and they've really enjoyed working for this organization. In this warehouse manager role, they're really looking for a candidate with superior leadership management, motivation, and teamwork skills. Ideally, this candidate would have about 3 years of management experience, including inventory control, procedures, and inventory accounting relationships. But they are definitely open to transitioning service members, with backgrounds in logistics, supply, things like that, that could step into this warehouse manager position. So again, that's a warehouse manager position in Houston, Texas. The next role I have for you is a maintenance and repair manager. This role is in Virginia. So basically, the candidate just needs to sit in Virginia. They could work in a remote hybrid capacity with intentions of being able to travel throughout Virginia, specifically Chesapeake, Norfolk area, to meet with the headquarters of the organization and clients within that region as well. So this position is really exciting because they are looking for someone that has had submarine or surface warfare experience. This person will basically manage the scheme of work and is essentially a project manager overseeing all things maintenance, repair, and overhaul of activities. This company does not get hung up on protocol. They give their employees a huge amount of autonomy. It's really a great place for a transitioning service member or veteran to come into an organization that really values military candidates. And there's great potential for growth there as well. So again, that is a maintenance and repair manager, and that's Virginia remote. The last position I have for everyone today is a Power BI developer. This is a fully remote position. This is a client that is a modern federal consulting firm, and they really focus on transforming the human experience and digital services. And they work with a lot of federal and government clients. Specifically, this role will be working directly with the Department of Veterans Affairs. And in this position, we need someone with obviously Power BI experience and a bachelor's degree in a related field. In working in Power BI, Power Automate, they would love someone that has developed and supported solutions that address a wide range of business needs. So if that sounds like you, please just type Power BI developer into the chat and I'll be able to reach out to you directly to provide more information or answer any questions. So thank you so much for listening in on those opportunities that we've shared today. Again, Kadeen mentioned 5 different DoD SkillBridge internships, and Amber and I mentioned just several of the openings that we have currently. Again, if you did not find something that was a fit today that we spoke of, we have over 150 SkillBridge internships and over 85 openings for permanent hire as well, located in fully remote as well as on-site nationwide. So please check out our careers page. If you didn't find something of interest, there is much more where that came from, and hopefully you can find something that is a fit for you. All right, so as I mentioned, the last 5 to 10 minutes of our broadcast, we try to share some useful tips and tricks from our recruiting team, as well as answer any job search related questions. We did see a couple of questions come through the chats there, but as we go, please continue to type those questions in the chats and we'll try to answer them live here on our broadcast. But I'd love to hand it over to Lucy.
Thanks, Kate. Just looking at some of the comments right now, Robert says he needs an RN position in California. We don't have a specific RN position, Robert, but we do have a couple of positions on our careers page that require an RN background, and they are remote. So if that's of interest to you, definitely take a look at those. Trudy, your son's at Fort Wayne, right? Great. That's literally just up the road with your daughter-in-law. So that's super cool. There's not many people in this neck of the woods. And Melissa mentioned about prometric testing. And if you're not familiar with that, these are a battery of tests that a lot of government departments and other civilian corporations do administer when it comes to recruiting. She said she wasn't familiar with them. And, do we know of any resources to practice these skills? I don't know specific websites, I must be honest, but a quick Google search does bring up practice tests for any type of industry or career field. So literally, I would encourage you to Google prometric testing, nursing, insurance, administration, and you can see those. So that's my advice there. So what I wanted to acknowledge with you today and to have a chat about was what are the obstacles to employment post-transition and really how to prepare yourself for those. There are so many first-timers with us today, so this is super exciting because I hope that you're in a period where transition isn't for a little while yet. And if it is, then, we can fast track this piece and you can accelerate it. You just have less time to do it than others. But I think the biggest obstacle or barrier that people come across is when they transition out of the military, they haven't identified what it is they really want to do. And that's fair enough. Because if you've been in the military for 20 years, you've performed your full career there, you literally are a jack of all trades. And we know that. As military recruiters, we are completely empathetic to it. We understand it. We get it. But we are very unusual here at HireMilitary. We may be recruiters in a perceived staffing agency, but our population is solely the military. We speak your language. We are all vets and spouses supporting you as veterans and spouses. And you have to remember that the rest of the world doesn't have the same knowledge of the language that we do. Equally, I get so many messages on LinkedIn and on my email, and I know our other recruiters do as well, every single week. Hey, can you give me some advice? Tell me what to do in terms of what job. And the short answer is no, it's really tricky for me because I don't know what you're interested in. I don't know what you've really enjoyed, and I don't know what you're good at, and I don't know what your qualifications are in. And this is the springboard and where I want to leap into this conversation. Because if you do have a year or two before transition, and I'm making that assumption right now, and we'll move on to those who are post-transition, possibly have already separated or are veterans currently in a second. I really encourage you to take this time to start having the conversations. And I know that sounds really easy for me to say, but I can say it, but we can also provide you with the links and the resources to start having these conversations. You need to know what you want to do. There is nothing worse as a recruiter seeing a candidate send their resume to us. And remember, I understand most recruiters and staffing agencies don't. Where somebody sends their resume and says, I can be an ops manager, I can be a warehouse manager, I can be a training manager, I can be a logistics manager, or I'm really interested in cybersecurity. Okay. Our immediate reactions are, we don't know where to focus on you. We don't know what you're looking for. Until you find that for yourself, we can't help you. So we really encourage you to have the conversations. If you're in personnel in the military, that doesn't translate to personnel outside of the military. Same job title, completely different function. You need to find that out for yourself. So you need to start talking to people who are in the jobs that you think you want to be in. And, initial reactions when I say that to people is, well, how do I do that? How do I go about that? It's super easy, especially when you have LinkedIn at your fingertips. Start looking at job titles. Look at the job descriptions around those job titles. Look at the experience that they're looking for, and then look at the qualifications and the certifications. If you can cover off most of those and the job sounds interesting to you, and you may have the qualifications, and if you don't have, you've got time to go and get those on the military's dime. I'm a huge proponent and champion of that. Get those certifications now. Then you can start to Google these job titles on LinkedIn. You can take a look at the companies that you think you might be interested in with these job titles, and then search those people by military history. So you can look at their current workforce, their current employees, and you can filter by prior employers. So you can put US Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, and you will see the people who are there right now who were in your shoes once before. And I absolutely promise you, if you reach out and send a very short, succinct, direct message to them to say, hey, this is the deal. I'm transitioning in a year's time. I think I want to do program management at IBM. Do you have 5 minutes to have a chat with me? I promise you they're going to come back and say, yes, of course, especially if it's the same branch. Branches stick together. And that's where you can really start to do your discovery and due diligence to understand, okay, you want to be, you've been a program manager in the military, but what you've done in the military is very different to what a program manager does in the civilian world. Budgets and management of profit and loss sheets are definitely one thing that's a huge differential. So you can start to have those conversations, and gaining that knowledge is going to help you in so many ways. First of all, it's going to add to your resume. You're going to be able to, for want of a better word, civilianize your resume and put industry terms in. You're going to network with these people who may know people who may know people who might have opportunities when you're transitioning. It's always easier to get a job through somebody you know than to make a blind application, because there will always be a referral there to support your application. But equally, it's going to give you the opportunity to go, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought it was. I definitely don't want to do this. And for me, that is the most important piece. It's as important to know what you don't want to do as it is to know what you do want to do, because here at HireMilitary, one of our strap lines is we don't want you to transition twice. We don't want you to leave active duty, go into a role, and then 6 months later think, oh my gosh, this is the biggest mistake I've ever made. This isn't for me, and then have to go through it again. So that's the biggest, that's the first piece of encouragement or advice I would give you. The second is, I'm talking to everybody here in terms of searching for a job. Make sure your resume is as competitive as it possibly can be, okay? When you see your resume, think about it from the perspective of pretending that you didn't know yourself. Do you think if you submitted your resume to the job that you really want and that you've got in front of you, you would have a chance at getting an interview based on the words on the paper? And that's really where I want to pivot your feeling around your resume, because the chances are probably not. We meet so many candidates on a daily and weekly basis who are absolutely phenomenal. They've got their career active duty, or they're transitioning after 5 or 10 years, and they've got all of the intrinsic capabilities and qualities of somebody who has been in the military. And this is what companies come to us for, qualities like leadership, innovation, credibility, integrity, but they cannot articulate their skill set competitively on the resume. And this is what leads into when we talk about targeting your resume or tailoring your resume, really being able to extrapolate the key detail and data from a job description and including it on your resume, so that when a recruiter sees you on paper, your energy, your enthusiasm, your ability to function in that role jumps off the page. And crafting that is a skill in itself as well. And really the long and short of it is, and a very long and short of it is, in order to target and tailor your resume, you need to make sure that all of the key qualifications from that job description are explicit in your resume, ideally up top in the professional summary. So when I, as a recruiter, have your resume pass across my metaphorical desk, I look at you and think, oh my gosh, this candidate has got everything I want for this role. But you've hit me between the eyes in the first 7 seconds of me taking a look at your resume. And I don't even need to read further, but I will read further because you've captured me, you've engaged me, you've used that professional summary at the top as your elevator pitch to grab me and go, don't pass me over, you want to interview me. And I was on Facebook yesterday on a veterans careers page, and somebody posted that they had submitted, and it could have been, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, probably was, that he'd submitted 1,500 applications. And he felt he was overqualified and he had all the skills for the role. And so somebody said, hey, man, post your resume. Let's take a look at it. It was, and if you're familiar with this, this will make you chuckle. It was an Indeed resume. So if you're familiar with those and you use Indeed for your job search, it basically had the job title and the dates and nothing else. All we knew about this person was where they had worked and how long they had worked there for. We knew nothing about their ability to perform the role, what they did, what they achieved specifically, while they were there. And really, that's what you're using your resume for, to align you as the best candidate for the role. And if you've been here before, you've heard me say it, but I'm going to say it again because I think that it's really key to know this piece. Coming out of the military, active duty members really do feel like the resume, the 2-page document, and please keep it to 2 pages, it's not a federal one, which can be 14 or 15 pages max. They use it to say what they've done in the past. Like, hey, I was a first sergeant, I was a first year, I worked in logistics, I did this, I deployed. That is not what a resume is. A resume is your windshield. It is to reflect to the person who will be reading your resume that you have everything needed for the role to which you're applying. And I think that's incredibly important. And I see flashing up, Indeed and LinkedIn resumes aren't as good as the real thing. Absolutely, they're not. And there are so many nonprofits and organizations out there who are literally dying and falling over themselves, veteran-specific ones, military-specific ones, to help you, guide you through this. And I'd love to give a shout out to an organization that, or a program that is being run by the Department of Labour through Serco at the moment called OBTT, Off-Base Transition Training. This training has been specifically created for those that have already transitioned. It's kind of the next step from the ENPP, the Employment Navigator program that you may be familiar with on your base. And they are in 5 locations at the moment across the US, but all of their content is you can actively access it, stumbling over my words, remotely as well. And they do workshops for everything. And one thing that I was incredibly impressed by, and I really encourage, if this is something that you need, they have a specific workshop for those that come out of the military who are disabled and may need disability consideration when it comes to working their next job. And they talk you through how to negotiate that, how to work with that, how to present that post-interview. And I thought that was incredibly key because that's something we never talk about. And it was of real interest to me. So, we do have a lot of information here. This is about it for me today because I've run over. But if you have any specific questions, I'm saying it louder for the people in the back, Rachel. Do get in touch with us. We're very happy to answer questions. And it's been great talking to you today. Thank you.
Wow, such great information, Lucy. Obviously, we can see from the response in the chats that it's so valuable, this perspective. And we can't say it enough. We can't say it too many times, just to help everyone that we possibly can to step into their transition or their job search on the right foot. So thank you so much for that, Lucy. I really appreciate it. And if, again, like we mentioned before, if you didn't hear of anything that was of interest today in terms of the DoD SkillBridge internships or direct hire opportunities that we've mentioned today, Matt has posted links to our internships page and our full-time permanent roles career page as well. So please take a look. And if you do have any questions on jobs that we have posted on either one of those, the internships or the direct hire sites, you can connect with all of us on LinkedIn and DM us directly with specific questions regarding those roles. So thank you so much to our team, Kadeen, Amber, Lucy, for taking time today to share all of that fantastic information and those job openings with our community. And to Matt, who is in the chats posting all of the links and all of the resources. Thank you so much, Matt Hart, for doing that for us today. We are really excited to be able to provide more great opportunities and job search advice for our military community. So please, if you have the time, tune in with us next week for another Hot Jobs at HireMilitary. We hope everyone has a great week and happy Easter. Take care.